We've been tracking Ruckus now for several years, and I think it's our third or fourth time together at Mobile World Congress. Behind us, we've got the physical layer of Ruckus, and last year we were talking about the cloud-based control plane product from Ruckus. Maybe walk us through how you see yourself competing at the physical layer and then now in the cloud-based world.
Okay, so let me do it reverse first. We've had a product called the Smartcell Gateway that we've been talking about now for a few years, and we're really reaching what I would describe as mainstream with that now, especially with our service provider partners. So whether they want to build their own managed services, cloud-based platforms, or whether they're building private managed services for individual organizations, the Smartcell Gateway is now becoming the platform of choice because of the scalability that it has. And we're also moving to a virtualized version of that product. So now, I mean, we will continue to have our clustered appliance-based technology, but of course many service providers have their own server technology that they would just rather load this on as an application. So we are starting to deliver that as well. So
and then on the physical side, how do you see your access point technology playing itself out as carriers look for HetNet and small cell intensification, and you've got the other major OEM vendors looking for small cell deployments? Where does Ruckus fit in the HetNet world?
Okay. Well, so first of all, I just want to say that in the world of small cells, and we're a believer in small cell technology, and we are and will be embracing that technology significantly in the quarters and years ahead. But Wi-Fi is not going to go away, and we make better Wi-Fi. The arguments that we've had for the last 6-7 years about smart antenna technology, nothing's changed. Okay, so we still have a better mousetrap. So if you want better Wi-Fi, Ruckus is the kind of Wi-Fi that you should be using. What's also interesting, I think, over the last 6 to 12 months is that the service providers who are actively looking at small cell technology have realized that 80-90% of the traffic that goes on Wi-Fi networks is actually, or should we say small cell networks, is actually going to be indoors. So the data load is indoors, it's not outdoors. So in fact, whilst I think maybe over the last year or two, we've talked a lot about what goes on outside, the service providers have realized that if they really are going to get the benefit, and if they really are going to be able to keep people on their own cellular small cell networks, they actually need to be indoors. But most of those operators would equally say, but we're not really the right guys to be deploying solutions indoors. We don't have the channels and the wherewithal to be selling to enterprises. Because if you want to be selling indoors, you're talking about going into enterprises. Well, guess what? That's where we sell, and we have a vast global channel, and we address the markets that the service providers want to get to. So we actually, rather than it being a challenge, we're in a position where we're perfectly positioned to facilitate a bringing together of the small cells, the licensed technology that a service provider will want to bring, and bring that technology in conjunction with our Wi-Fi technology, whether they're separate units, whether they're integrated, the future will tell what will happen there. But we then take those products together with our channel into the enterprise and solve a problem for everybody. So we're at a very interesting stage in this whole market. We always seem to be, every year there's something very interesting going on, but I think the whole small cell world is at a tipping point, and I think the next couple of years especially is going to be very interesting, and we're certainly going to be front and center of that whole story.
So you talked about in-building. In your opinion, what happens to distributed antenna systems?
Well, I don't think distributed antenna systems are going to go away. We're not going to suddenly switch things off and take them away. Ultimately, for any enterprise or any high-density environment where capacity is an issue, then a distributed antenna system isn't going to solve that problem, because essentially it tends to be one radio snaking through a whole building supporting multiple users, and that's fine for voice. But if you want to support a lot of data, and the challenge here is data. If we were just solving a voice problem, we could be deploying 2G DAS systems, and we could forget about small cells. But the issue is data. And data requires a lot of density. You're talking about a lot of people, a lot of smart devices that consume more and more bandwidth, and DAS won't solve that problem. So it's going to be a horses for courses situation. If you have an environment that requires lots of data, so it's lots of people in one location, then DAS isn't going to be the answer. Small cells, which will include Wi-Fi, will be the answer. But there's always going to be those other environments that there isn't any expectation that there's going to be huge data usage, and therefore DAS will continue to be a suitable solution for that kind of environment.